I don't know if you guys listened to the AM update this morning. It was our first morning podcast, so we're going to be offering that now during the weekdays. It's just a 15-minute straight news update for folks before they start their day. But it was mostly about what's happening with the settlement, the resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, and how Trump has really taken the lead. Hello, somebody had to. And is having direct meetings with Putin. And Zelensky of Ukraine is very unhappy and continues to sort of yap about it. Now, with all due respect to Mr. Zelensky, this thing was just on and on and on with no progress until, or hope of resolution until Trump got directly involved, till he got elected and stepped in there and actually started to say, look, let's be realistic about how thing is going to land. So Zelensky would do well to just be quiet for a while to see what Trump can accomplish. And when Trump brings it to him, it will be a proposal and he can react accordingly. But instead, he's been yapping the whole week long about there's no deal on Ukraine without Ukraine. Well, he knows that. All right. But realistically, you'll probably do what we tell you to because your war ends without our support. And everybody knows that. So we're kind of doing you the courtesy of allowing you to appear like you are in charge. But everyone knows without our money, this thing goes away. You lose. You would have lost week one. The Europeans have donated some, have supported some. But let's be honest, their coffers are a lot more shallow than ours are. And we're the number one player in making this thing go away. So that's why Trump is taking the lead. He's dealing with Putin directly. And Zelensky just keeps dropping these not helpful statements. And I think Trump has about had it because he just issued a truth social. And I'll give you a couple. All right. So stand by. Let me see if I can find these on my phone. Oh, gosh. Can you guys send them to me again? My team sent them to me, and now I can't find them now that we're actually live on the air. Just stand by. I will get it to you. Here it is. Oh, no. Shoot, that's not it. Are we live? Is this happening live? Trump basically called him a dictator and put him in his place saying, why don't you take a seat because we're doing something here and you're not being helpful. Here it is. Think of it, he writes on Truth Social. A modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that could not be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. The U.S. has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the U.S. will get nothing back. You remember that Trump struck the deal the other day, or was starting to, that would allow for us to have access to Ukraine's natural minerals as collateral for our money. But nobody even thought of that. Biden was just handing them boatloads of dollars without any promise in return. So Trump is saying here that we spent $200 billion. Europe got a guarantee. We never did. Why didn't sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization in that this war is far more important to Europe than it is for us? We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. Obviously, Europe is part of Ukraine and Ukraine's part of Europe, and Europe has to worry about this war, which is in its backyard, not ours. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. That's exactly right. He admitted that. It's gone underreported. But we've got over $100 billion that's just kind of gone. And Zelensky's admitting it. And by the way, if you said we don't trust him, we think this man should not be entrusted with the American dollars, you would be called all sorts of names as recently as like 6 months ago. But it's a valid concern. He's admitted that it's gone and no one knows where. He says Zelensky refuses to have elections, is very low in Ukrainian polls, and the only thing he was good at playing Biden, the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections, Zelensky better move fast or he is not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something I'll admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died, and so it continues. And let me tell you why this is so bad for Zelensky. It's because recently, Trump, since he took office, was sounding not neocon-y. Trump is not neocon-y. J.D. Vance and Tucker are much more in the non-interventionist camp. That's very large within the Republican Party. I would say Trump is close to them, but not entirely aligned with them. He's still got like a toe over in not neocon camp, but, he's not afraid to drop a bomb on a guy like Soleimani. He's, if the situation calls for it, Trump will be more bellicose, both in his language and then ultimately in his behavior. And what Zelensky doesn't want to do is saber rattle Trump over to the J.D. Vance Tucker side, where Ukraine will get even less than Trump is trying to negotiate for them. Right? Trust me when I tell you, they'll do better under Trump in a good mood than they will under Trump in a screw you Zelensky mood. So this is not smart behavior from a guy who has very few chips with which to bargain. Trump spoke to what's happening between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine from Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday. Here's SOT 5.
Tell us a little bit more about the Russia talks, your impression of how they went today, and if you're perhaps more confident or less confident of a deal after what happened today.
Well, much more confident. They were very good. Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there? It's soldiers are being killed by the thousands on a weekly basis. It's ridiculous. And they're not American soldiers. They're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers largely, although a lot of Koreans have been killed, as you know. Quite a bit of them have been killed. They came over to fight and a large portion have been wiped out. But we want to end it. It's a senseless war. It should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president.
Well, that's the other piece of it, and I think we all know that's true. He has a different relationship with Vladimir Putin, and Putin would have been more, if not afraid of Trump, than respectful, I think, of the power that Trump yields as the United States president. Trump went on to say, yeah, I can end this war. And honestly, everyone knows that, so he really, again, Zelensky's playing with fire. Take a listen here to SOT 6.
I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that are being killed, and they're Russian and Ukrainian people, but they're people. Doesn't matter where they're from on the whole planet. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well.
So that's where things stand now. Look, if he strikes a deal with Putin that allows Putin to have it's probably going to be most of the territory that they have taken in Ukraine, but also says and also says that Ukraine will not be joining NATO, Putin will accept that deal, and Zelensky's going to accept that deal. He's going to have security to ensure that they will not be attacked again, and it seems like the Europeans are prepared to give them some forces. Trump is saying no U.S. forces. We're not going to be the peacekeeper over there. Great. I think we've all had it up to here with that kind of role for the United States across the world. And I'm sure there will be some sort of additional financial investment, which Trump will now say will be repaid, in essence, by the earth materials, the raw earth materials that we can get out of Ukraine, which is very valuable. So that's where we are. It's a precarious situation, but it's going to be handled. And the only thing that could queer the deal is Zelensky shooting his mouth off. Let's hope he stops that. We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and rising cost of living, and we could have a big problem. So what are you doing now to protect your family for the future? Gold can be a safe haven in hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898, get your free info kit on gold, and get a copy of the Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. Just text my initials MK to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.